Netflix.
Oh my God, where do I begin? Although my first love is interior design, and I have a strong passion for talking about mental health. And so I feel like now is the time I want to share a little bit about my story. I went into recovery for an eating disorder, and then I nearly died 4 years ago in October. The interior design industry has been a bit of a challenge because if you are not perfect to the T, to the inch, to the eighth of an inch, you're wrong. That definitely fed the eating disorder in a lot of ways, and I didn't have the tools to combat them. But like day after day after day, you just like take one step in front of the other and you just somehow come out on the other side. If I can make just any small impact in somebody who may be struggling, somebody who maybe, and doesn't even have to be an eating disorder, it can just be feeling trapped in yourself with something that you can't control. If I can just be a voice of support or be there as an inspiration in any way, then that will be a job well done. Hi, I'm Vroom. I'm an interior designer in the Los Angeles area, and I'm here to have a little chat.
Cool. And then let's do one more where you end on Los Angeles.
Okay.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Boom. Fucking nail it. One and done. Hi, I'm Vroom. I'm an interior designer in the Los Angeles area.
That's the winner.
There's a point in your process with anything mental health wise where you realize, I don't care what you think, because I am watching myself conquer the hardest things that I thought I could ever go through and come out on the other side, and you start to have respect for yourself, and then you build confidence, and then you just don't care anymore. And so that's where I'm today. I struggle with an eating disorder since I was 18 years old. I got into fitness and it was totally like innocent. And I then just slowly started developing this eating disorder as I went into design school. It just sort of became my life, it became my lifestyle, and you start to adapt to these unhealthy behaviors, these unhealthy mindsets, these addiction patterns, and I really couldn't live without it.
All eating disorders are different. I was anorexic. I had over exercise addiction. So the day-to-day was pretty much eating as little as possible and doing the most. It was just a progression of the food getting littler and littler and smaller over the years until it was close to nothing.
So it was a slow fade. I had nothing left on my body, so it starts kind of getting more internal. So I would be almost fainting, and I would be like at the gym a couple times a day, and I was pretty much running myself into the ground. And I had other scares. I had like a panic attack where we had to call the ambulance, and there was just like a lot of things that were leading up to this point. It was getting close to like October, and there was like a Halloween party or something, and I did a workout the night before, and I just felt like something was wrong with my body. I went on a 10-mile run, and I barely made it back. So about halfway into my run, I just felt like, wow, I'm dying. I collapsed at the door, cried myself onto the counter, and I like grabbed a jar of honey, and I was just like, I just knew that there was like blood sugar, there was like some sort of collapse going on, and basically from that moment on, it was like, you're done. You're either dying, because I was dying, or you're getting help. And it's now, or it's never. And little did I know that was gonna be the first day of probably the hardest few years of my life.
So after my collapse, I went to urgent care, and then I had all these tests run, and they basically said, you need to stay at the hospital, and I said no. Honestly, I was just too weak to go stay at a facility, and I had a business to run, and I had things to do, and so in my mind, it just wasn't an option. So I went to like an extensive outpatient care where I was monitored by doctors, and I had a couple therapists and dietitians monitoring me as I navigated those first few weeks of just refeeding and getting myself to a place where I could actually function.
I was so depleted that anything that I took in was just difficult for my body to process. It was like I really didn't know how to live without it. I hated my reflection. I hated myself. I hated my thoughts. I was scared of my thoughts. It was an extremely traumatic experience. Like, it was easier to live with an eating disorder than to be healthy and try to manage the chaos that was in my mind.
So, laying down, which would be like day 5, doing nothing, trying to recover. I never want to forget how tired I am. Even my wrinkles look tired.
This was right at the beginning when I was really sick, when I went into recovery, and I took these videos to describe how I was feeling and what was going on so that I would remind myself to never go back to this place. It's just weird to see this person. Like, I feel so sad for this person, and I just feel like a completely different human being. It's not that I feel ashamed to talk about this. I was hesitant because of what I think people would think about me, especially if they knew me for so many years. This is me, like, this is the whole person. And I wanted to share who I am and what I like to do and what makes me that really hardworking person that you work with, or what makes me really creative. Like, those same traits that led me to have like an eating disorder for so long are the same traits that make me the person that people like to work with in a lot of ways. And I wanted to normalize mental health. I wanted to normalize talking about eating disorders. I wanted to normalize talking about it in my industry and make it part of a bigger conversation than just one little blurb on Instagram.
The interior design industry has been a bit of a challenge because if you are not perfect to the T, to the inch, to the eighth of an inch, you're wrong. That definitely fed the eating disorder in a lot of ways of, I'm seeing it in this area, I'm seeing it in this area, I'm seeing it in my body, right? So I'm kind of getting that feedback from the world, and they didn't have the tools to combat them. And so I wound up not noticing, and then it sort of took over. There's so much pressure in this particular industry, and it winds up sucking the life out of you. And how do you then self-care and not resort to addiction or negative behaviors or unhealthy mindset or anxiety, depression? So you have to kind of feed your soul and set a clear set of boundaries. The way that I struggle now is different than obviously the eating, the really, really hard parts, the body changes and all of that. Like, I really appreciate my body for all the things it does. And so I think for me now, I'm definitely beyond the really, really, really hard parts. And now I'm in the just learning how to really manage my thoughts and shift them so that I don't have to have this really strong internal battle.
So that's where I'm at now.
I think a major part of the design process is the relationship and figuring out who are you, like what is going on with you, how do you live, what is this space, how does it function. But not only is it about the space, it's like about you. Like, yeah, we're building a house and it's stressful and we're designing these spaces and there's a lot of money going out and there's a lot of pressure. And if I can be that like small, safe space for my clients, that not only am I like, great, I got you in the design, but I also really have your back as a person and I can be there to support you so that you have space with your mental health. When I was younger, I always struggled with like, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? It's like, great, I'm making people's houses look pretty. I'm like, oh, that's cute, right? It's like, is this anything? And as I started to dig and like do a little more searching, I found this great purpose in my career of like, wow, like what an honor it is to build a home that people live in and they sleep in and they dine in and they gather in and they invite all their friends and they build memories and they cry in it and they laugh. Like, I designed this space and you get to live in it and I'm impacting your life forever. It's a great honor to work on any job, you know, but it's even better that I have this new mindset that I'm now designing this personal space for you that will forever impact your life. And I just feel really grateful for that. I find that when you're a more relatable person, you become more human. Like if I can make just any small impact in somebody who may be struggling, somebody who maybe, and doesn't even have to be an eating disorder, it can just be feeling trapped in yourself with something that you can't control. If I can just be a voice of support or be there as an inspiration in any way, then that will be a job well done.
I'm Vroom. This is my story. What's your story?